So, if you guys haven't noticed, the five elders are here. And we're about to see Egghead turn upside down. Hello One Piece enthusiasts, I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about the five elders on Egghead Island and what it means for the story. Now, it seems like I've been talking about this every single time something major happens where I say, ooh, events of Egghead about to turn over its head or something along that line, but this time I am goddamn serious. So, the five elders arriving is not something what I expected, especially not at this point in the story. You know how much I am a fan of Oda keeping things a secret, and massive powers or powerhouses, like we like to say in the shonen world, being kept for the final arc or somewhere at the end of the story. But yeah, considering this is the end of the story for One Piece, we're at our final saga, it's about time we get to see people in action, and yeah, we do see that, but it's too soon for me at least from what I thought. But they're here, and let's talk about it. So, I've mentioned it in my chapter review that it now basically turns Egghead Island into an escape mission, but now that I've reconsidered everything and every single option, I believe there are a few outcomes or likely outcomes that might be plausible. And I'm just gonna briefly go over what I thought initially and tell you guys more about it. So at first I thought, ooh, Luffy and the others need to escape Egghead Island. They took Vegapunk, they have Bonnie, they need to go to Elbaf, the giant pirates are here, and now the five elders are here. Luffy will not take down the five elders right now. It's, I would say, near impossible. Yeah, he can probably keep up with Saturn. In fact, I would go as far as to say that Luffy would probably win against Saturn with Gear 5 at this point. But with the other five elders on their way, or not on their way, but in fact just there, like, seriously, Luffy can't win. And I don't see anyone else taking in charge, even with the giant pirates and the giant robot that we are seeing waking up again. I really doubt that we'll be able to take on the five elders and then, make Egghead Island the territory of Luffy, what he has been doing thus far. I believe it's time for this pattern of the story to change. Now, what I like to see is some sort of a sacrifice. Vegapunk probably dies here, along with some of the other satellites, if they want to keep the five elders busy. And the five elders, their main motivation is not to defeat the Straw Hats or capture Vegapunk, it's literally to stop the broadcast. They don't care about the Straw Hats. The news of the Void Century or whatever the real history of the world is that Vegapunk knows, if this gets out to the world, it's more dangerous than Luffy escaping, probably running into Shanks or Blackbeard and creating some more chaos for the world government, or maybe in finding Laugh-Tale. Because at the end of the day, no matter how famous Luffy gets, he's still a pirate in the eyes of the world. He is still someone who cannot be trusted. Not everyone knows Luffy personally, and even if Luffy does become Pirate King, he will be influential, and even if Luffy does discover the real history of the world, if he tries to convey it to the world would be like, no, you're a pirate, you're a scum, I'm not gonna listen to you. The world government are the creators of justice, and they're the ones that are in the right. So with that being said, now with Vegapunk telling all of this, one of my point is the five elders need to stop that broadcasting right now. Vegapunk hasn't gotten into it too far. In fact, he's just scratched the surface. I think we're about to see halfway through the broadcast. We'll probably end in a place where it will be pivotal for the world to know, but it won't be enough to spill the beans about the entire history of the world government, where the people would start mistrusting them. But there will be some confusion in the air. So my point is, five elders aren't here to take down Luffy. Yeah, they might have to take down Luffy if they were to go to the lava sphere, but point is, if they can bypass Luffy, which I believe they will probably head for where the broadcast is happening. That gives time for the Straw Hats and the others to escape, while maybe some of the Vegapunks are busy trying to keep the lava sphere in shape so that the broadcast keeps happening. And that gives the Straw Hats a chance to escape, and then we move on to Elbaf, and the five elders stop the broadcasting, they go back to Marisha or whatever, rethink or whatever, and then we move on with the story. But if I were to treat it a little bit differently, and if I were to be, thinking about it in the lens of maybe this is an escape mission, or maybe this is a place where Luffy has to lose. Now, remember how at the start of the arc, it was not the start of the arc, but the start of when we saw Kizaru Sentamaru, we saw how it paralleled to Sabaody Archipelago. And remember, Sabaody Archipelago is a place where the Straw Hats literally got their first major defeat, where they could not get back up. No matter how much they tried, they had to take a break, and the Straw Hats had their most devastating defeat. I wanted that scenario to be recreated again. I wanted the Straw Hats to lose at some point in the story, so that they get another lesson. But at this point, the Straw Hats are too strong for them to be losing at this. And, if they do lose, they'll literally end up losing their Empire title or whatever, not. But even with that being said, I like to believe that this is a place where it could go to show the power of the world government. Maybe they do fail to save all the Vegapunks. Maybe, something major does happen. Some of the giant pirates have to stay and take care of the 5 elders, while the Straw Hats and the others escape. Also, it's entirely possible that the Straw Hats get defeated and then some other allies show up. But the most plausible explanation that I can see happening right now is basically some of the Vegapunks, if not all, end up dying protecting the lava sphere so that the message get transferred, but of course it won't. And Luffy will be on the brink of defeat, or rather in the brink of death, the same way he was against Kaido. If that does end up happening, there will be some sort of a tarnish in reputation for the Straw Hats. We know Egghead is about to be massive, it's about to turn the world on its head, but we don't really know whether or not it's going to be Luffy who does it, or the broadcasting for Vegapunk. So my likely belief and my likely scenario is that Luffy will suffer a major defeat. He will definitely see that he has a weakness or things to improve upon, and that includes all of the Straw Hats. If they don't need to necessarily lose in order to get some senses into them, but they need some sort of a giant hurdle or another obstacle to basically show them that no, we aren't defeated, we aren't devastated, but we aren't strong enough to face whatever the world government has. And I know this has been done before, but this time I believe that the Straw Hats will get a major boost, because in Egghead, honestly, not many people did anything. Even in Wano, everyone had their fair shots. I have my hates, I have my takes on shortcomings in Wano, but in Egghead specifically, I expected a little bit more from everybody else, but the story became too hectic to focus on every single Straw Hat, and this wasn't going to be like a major arc. It was going to turn the world. It was going to create chaos in the world, that is true, or some sort of a big hit, but it wasn't supposed to be a big war like Onigashima, where the Straw Hats get to shine. So I believe that the fact that they didn't get to shine, or rather they couldn't, and their opponents were too strong enough, or were too strong, they need some sort of a place, which is most likely going to be Elbaf, where they do end up training or getting some sort of a break, so that they can be stronger to get back up against the world. Although this has been done before, I keep saying this over and over again, I believe this reality hit has to happen for them to take on Blackbeard, Shanks, or even the world government. That's my take on it, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know your thoughts on the comments below. Until next time, peace.